Hey guys, how's it going? We're here back at this lawn which we've been renovating every single year. Let me show you. I'm going to turn the camera around so you'll know we've renovated last 2 or 3 years that we've been coming here, and that helps to keep it in the top condition that it is in. I go to lawns every single day and I would say at least 80% only look average. And it's down to what people put into it. It really is. What people put into their own lawns is what makes all the difference. But this is looking amazing. To say it's on clay soil, it is looking amazing. Now I want to point out here that this is particularly bad with clay. And it always wears and thins out. But actually this year it's not doing too bad. So I think we're starting to get somewhere with the aeration, the compost top dressing and the gypsum slowly starting to improve the soil. So this should get better year on year. Now he hasn't put the cylinder mower on because it's just too wet, but he's put the normal rotary mower on. And it is looking pretty good. There is obviously some little bits of fungus in the lawn, hence the discoloured pieces. Now, it's because it's wet, and the way to deal with that is to try and make it not wet. And how do we do that? We do that through aeration, putting gypsum on a regular basis, seaweed, just all the basics really. And if you've got access to a fungicide, you can put a fungicide on. So I've already gone over and put some iron on up to that section there, and I've just got to finish that off, but then I'm going to apply some fungicide and seaweed, and it's a commercial fungicide, so these aren't available sadly to the general public, but I'm loving this. This is looking incredible. So it doesn't matter what iron sulphate you use. I like the Pro Clean. I've been using that on my own lawn, but commercially I use one that the supplier has sent to me. Sometimes I get something called Ferromel, which is good and it's good value. But if they haven't got any, which they've not been able to for a while, they're just sending me this stuff, which is the same. Okay, iron sulphate, and that's literally it. It comes from another country, and this is what it looks like. It's like a blue powder, but it feels like snow. That's the texture of it, like snow, and it dissolves pretty much instantly. But you tend to need to put a tiny bit more of this in. However, the point I'm trying to say is, I often get questions saying, which one do you use? Well, I can only tell you the ones I'm using at the time, and Pro Clean is actually a good one, and I like it very much. Ferromel is a good one, but needs a lot of mixing. And it can clog up, but even this can clog up as well. It is whatever my supplier sends to me, and I use Agravista, and I have a contact there, and he is there for advice, products, new products coming out and things like that. And this is what you need if you are in the business. Then I would suggest getting in touch with a company, Pitch Care, Agravista, someone like that, and they can help you along. So I'm going to get this filled up, finish off the iron sulphate, and then I'm going to put some fungicide on. Now in terms of fungicide, again it varies, and they are running out and trying to ban pretty much all fungicides, but this is the one I'm currently using. Okay, it's called Insignia, and it's okay, it does the job, but it's pretty much all we can get hold of at the minute that I'm aware of. At some point there won't be any of these left, so you've got to start doing cultural practices like regular scarifying, aerating, verticutting to thin out the grass. If you thin out the grass, the wind can blow through the blades and dry it out, and with regular scarifying and aerating it's improving drainage, and this is key. And it might be a case of we all switch to using sandier soil at some point so that drainage is better, or we just accept a bit of disease from time to time. So let me get this on. I'll go and get this sprayed and then I'll mix this up and then we'll get that on as well. Now you notice I've got 4 or 5 sprayers. It's just convenient when I'm working to swap and use one for specific things. But at home you only need one. And when you want to swap and change, all you've got to do is make sure it's used all the products up, what you've got in. Put some warmish water in. Spray it through somewhere on your lawn again. Spray it through on your lawn again. And then just rinse some cold water through another couple of times. So what you call triple rinsing. So you put in fresh water through, and then you can put your next product in according to how you want to mix. So I put water in, I put the fungicide in, and I've just put a bit of seaweed in as well, just to try and help. So we'll get this mixed up and we'll go and get this sprayed on. Okay, that is it. That's looking pretty good actually. Yeah. So let me just talk about what we've done and why we've done all of this. I've put a fungicide on with a bit of more seaweed in, just to top the seaweed up. And the fungicide will help to keep the blades of grass green, rather than sort of yellowy bits. Now normally we'd put a bit of nitrogen in as well, but at this time of the year, you cannot put nitrogen on. Well, you can, but it's going to make it grow really fast. And it's very hard to mow grass when it's always wet and boggy. So you end up making a bit of a mess and it can get out of control. So at this time of the year, your goal is to make sure it doesn't get too wet. Which is the big thing that everybody's saying, well, it's always wet, it's always wet, it's always boggy, there's always dew. You can reduce it, can't you? You can go over your lawn with a brush, a lute. It just knocks that dew off a little bit, so it's not affecting the blades of grass, because it's when it's sat like bubbles on the blades of grass is what leads to disease, the wetness. The ground, obviously, unless you're going to dig it up and put French drains in, it's always going to get wet and boggy. If it's a wet and boggy type of soil, clay, or somewhere in between clay. If you've got sandy soil, this is a good time of year for you because it drains through a lot easier and you don't have quite so many fungal issues. But then the problem with sandy soil is you've got to water a lot more during summer than you would on this. So a middle sort of ground is usually a fair compromise for most people. Normal, reasonably well draining soil. So that's it. That is it for this video. Remember, just because you're not mowing as much, your lawn is still there. You want to keep off as much as possible, of course, because it wears it down and it cannot recover because it's not growing to aid the recovery. So this is why you don't want to be going on your lawns too much at this time of the year. You still need to go on, you still need to mow, but you'll only mow maybe 3-4 times over the whole of winter. So once every 6 or 7 weeks, when it needs it, just take the tops off on a nice dry day, and you will get them for most people, unless you're on thick heavy clay. Anyway, that's it. Questions, comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, thanks for being a subscriber. We'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, if you haven't subscribed, go on, press the like button, click subscribe. It won't do anything to you, but it'll mean the world to me. Take care.